Hello friends, my name is Dalit Tony and you are watching Polity This week by Drishti IAS. In this episode, we'll be discussing certain developments in the field of polity which has happened in the last week and that can be important for our examination. So let's start our discussion here. We'll be discussing these 4 topics today. One, we will be talking about the CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and after that we'll be talking about the 75th Constitution Day. In that regard, obviously on the 26th November, we have celebrated our 75th Constitution Day. Other than that, also there was this Supreme Court judgment with respect to the words like socialism and secularism. Okay, so that judgment was also there on that particular day. So we'll be talking about that judgment as well. Then moving further, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, that is UAPA. We'll be talking about that because recently one organization, that is ULFA, has been banned by the Home Ministry, okay, under this particular act for another 5 years. Okay, then One Nation One Subscription, ONOS. So this is one initiative which has been taken by the central government with respect to the R&D. So we'll be talking about that as well. Okay, now let's start our detailed discussion. Before that, I have this announcement that for your UPSC preparation, all those classes which used to be conducted in Mukherjee Nagar by Drishti IAS, now they will be conducted at Noida Center, that is in Noida Sector 15. Your address will be C171/2 Block A Sector 15 Noida. Nearest metro station is Noida Sector 15, and for more details you can call on this number, that is 9311406440. Number is given over here. Other than that, there is a link which is given in your description. You can fill up the form and get a callback from our side. And when we are talking about the batches will be started at the Noida Center from 9th of December in Hindi medium, and for English medium 12th of December is the date. Other than that, if we talk about the other centers, at our Lucknow Center, UPSC GS Foundation course, both in Hindi as well as English medium, will be there starting from 29th of November, that is today. So course has been started. You can go and get enrolled. Other than that, Prayagraj, if we are talking about Prayagraj Center, so UPSC GS Foundation course is starting over there from 2nd of January, both in Hindi and English medium at different time. For Hindi medium, that is 6 p.m. and for English medium, that is 5:30 p.m. Okay. Besides this, one more initiative has been started by Drishti, and I'm very happy to announce that, that is Sambhav 2025. Okay, this is an initiative which is there on the website. You can go explore more, but I will tell you some important facts about it. In this initiative, we'll be going for the integrated preparation for prelims as well as mains. Okay, we'll be talking about the practice of prelims by 10 daily prelims practice questions, and for mains practice there will be 2 daily mains practice questions. Their ranking, when we are talking about these prelims practice questions, their ranking will be you can say traced in real time, so that will be beneficial for your competition. Other than that, all these tests and all these courses are basically you can say devised on the basis of detailed PYQ analysis, so that would be very helpful for your examinations. Okay, and this particular initiative is open for all students on our website, so you can visit the website and explore more. Okay, now let's start with the discussion of our today's session. In this, we will be first looking at the questions which has been given to you for your practice in the previous session. So let's see. First question: which landmark case condemned the honor killing Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan, Lata Singh versus State of UP, that is Uttar Pradesh, Shakti Vahini versus Union of India, or Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India? Okay, option C is your right answer, that is Shakti Vahini versus Union of India, that has condemned the honor killing. Other than that, when we are talking about the Vishakha versus Rajasthan or Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, you will tell me in the comment box that with which particular aspect these cases are related to, because these cases are also important for our examination. Okay, now second question is: under which constitutional provision the State Finance Commission SFC established Article 243I? We have already discussed. Option C would be your right answer over here. What is the age of consent for sexual activity in India as per the POCSO Act 2012? That is 18 years. Option B would be your right answer. Then the last question is: which of the following is not eligible for PM internship scheme? Youth not in full-time employment or education, they are eligible. Coming to the second one, that graduates from IITs and MITs. Yes, graduates from IITs and MITs are excluded from this particular scheme. So option B would be your right answer over here. And now let's move further and start with the first topic of the day, that is basically your CAG. Okay, recently we are taking this particular topic. What has happened is that the recently K. Sanjay Murthy has been appointed as the new CAG of India, succeeding Girish Chandra Murmu. Okay, so please remember this name. in the PCS examination, etc., they can ask you that who is the current CAG. So that is S. Sanjay Murthy. Now, in this particular discussion, we'll be talking about the constitutional provision, we'll be talking about the functions, we'll be seeing that what kind of role CAG plays. Other than that, reports and etc., which are made by the CAG. Okay, so first let's see the constitutional provisions. Article 148 deals with the appointment, oath, and the condition of services of CAG. Then Article 149 is there, that is specifying the special duties and the powers of CAG. Moving further, Article 150 is talking about the accounts of union and state must be kept in the form prescribed by the president by CAG. Okay, so basically here they are saying that all the accounts of the central and the state government will be kept by CAG. Okay, and the you can say format will be prescribed by president over here. So that is Article 150. Then Article 151, that is that requires CAG's report on union accounts to be submitted to the president, and president in turn will lead them into the parliament. Okay, and in the case of the states, it will be submitted to the governor, and the governor will be basically submitting that to the state assemblies. Okay, so that is about some important you can say articles. Other than that, in the third schedule, obviously the oath and affirmation of CAG is given. Okay, then in the sixth schedule also, when we are talking about the schedule related to the tribal areas, specified that the account of district or the regional council should be kept in form prescribed by CAG and audited accordingly. Reports are submitted to the governor. Okay, sixth schedule, reports are submitted to the governor, and governor will put them in the, you can say, assembly. Okay, so that is about your some rules or you can say provisions with respect to the CAGs. Okay, now that will be put forward the council. Here there are regional councils which are there with respect to the sixth schedule. Okay, so that is one important fact which you have to remember, that the reports with respect to the sixth schedule areas and the regional council, that will be submitted by CAG to the governor, and governor will in turn put it in front of the council. Okay, now let's move further. Here, appointment and the terms of services. As I told you, Article 148 is talking about the appointment of CAG. Who will do the appointment? That is president. Okay, so there shall be a CAG, that is Comptroller, and the Auditor General of India, who shall be appointed by the president and can be removed from office only in the manner and the grounds that has that as judge of Supreme Court is removed. Okay, so when we are talking about the removal process is same as the judge of the Supreme Court. Okay, requiring a special majority resolution in both houses of parliament for proven misbehavior or incapacity. These are the two grounds: proven misbehavior and incapacity, on which a CAG can be removed. Okay, then he holds office for a period of 6 years or up to age of 65 years. So that is basically, you can say, your tenure, that is 65 years, that is upper age, or 6 years is the, you can say, tenure, whichever comes first. Okay, then CAG can resign at any time from his office by addressing the resignation to the president. Okay, so president is the appointing authority, and president will be going for the accepting the resignation. So this is about the appointment and terms of services. Now let's talk about some of the functions. These are some important functions. First, here you will be seeing the audits of the funds. Okay, now audits of the funds. So which funds will be audited by the CAG? So one is your consolidated fund of India and the consolidated fund of the states. Okay, these are basically audited by CAG. One is of India and other funds of the states. Other when we are talking about the consolidated fund of the state, you know that every state has their own fund. So that, then contingency fund of India, that is basically under president. Okay, so that particular fund will also be audited by CAG. And then public accounts of India, this will also be, you can say, audited by CAG. These are the three funds which will be audited by CAG. Moving further, audit of the bodies and authorities. Which kind of bodies? One is your government companies or the PSUs which are there, other corporations, and the substantially financed by the state. Okay, so if there is a corporation which is financed by, or the substantially financed by the state or the, you can say, central government, in that case they can go for their audit as well. Okay, now moving further, next is your advisory role. So they play an advisory role on the central account as well as the state accounts as well. Then special request, if there is a special request by governor or the president with respect to the audit of the local bodies, then they can go for the audit of the local bodies as well. Okay, and in the last we have audit of the account. So department of the central government and the state governments, all the department will be audited by CAG. Okay, trading accounts, manufacturing accounts, profit and loss accounts, and the balance sheet will be audited by CAG. So these are some functions, or these are basically the areas where CAG will have authority to go for the, you can say, audits. Okay, now moving further, who will to whom CAG will submit their report? So CAG submits his audit report relating to the accounts of the central government or the center related you can say bodies to president, and president will put it in front of parliament. Okay, so there are 3 reports which are submitted by CAG to the president, that is audit report on the appropriation account, audit report on the finance account, and audit report on the public undertaking. So these are the compulsory reports which are basically put forward by the CAG to president, and president will put them into the parliament. Other than that, he also submits his audit reports relating to the accounts of the states to the governor, and governor will put them in the state assemblies. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now this is all about the CAG. We have talked about the specific provisions. We have also talked about the appointment and terms of services. We have talked about the functions or the role of CAG, and then we have seen that to whom he will you can say give his report to. Okay, now that is about CAG. Now let's move further to the next one, that is 75th Constitution Day. That is when we are talking about the 26th November. This is the day on which we celebrate our Constitution Day. Okay, Rashtriya Samvidhan Divas or National Constitution Day. Now the Constitution of India, the preamble is given in front of you. Here they have specifically mentioned in our Constituent Assembly this 26th day of November 1949. This is the day on which we are adopting, enacting and giving it to ourselves, the Constitution. That is the day on which we have adopted our Constitution. Okay, now the next question over here is that we are saying that we have adopted the Constitution on 26th of November 1949. Then when did we actually enforced our Constitution? Okay, or when was the time when Constitution actually came into play? Okay, so that is basically your 26th January 1950. On this day we actually celebrate our Republic Day. Okay, so that is about the Constitution. Here you can see words like sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic are mentioned over here, and in the, you can say, further you will be seeing that the unity and integrity word are mentioned over here. Okay, now there is one important factor which is there, that by 42nd Constitution Amendment Act we have added words like socialist and secular and the word integrity. These 3 words were added later in the preamble, that is basically from the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act 1976. Okay, and recently these words has been challenged, that socialist word and the secular word has been challenged, and that there are various petitions which has been filed in the Supreme Court asking that these words should be removed, because they have been added to the Constitution later or the preamble later, and they have been given a retrospective effect. Okay, on which Supreme Court has given their verdict. So we will be talking about that now. So here you can see socialist and secular in preamble. Recently Supreme Court upheld the addition of the socialist and the secular to preamble inserted through the 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Okay, so that is one thing. Now Supreme Court dismissed the plea challenging the inclusion of the word socialist and the secular in the preamble through 42nd Constitution Amendment Act 1976. Parliamentary power under Article 368. Before that, I would like to tell you one or two things about this particular judgment. Now Supreme Court here has said that you are saying that these were added later, okay, and they have been given the retrospective effect. Most of the constitutional amendment has been given the retrospective effect. Why? Because when Parliament is amending the Constitution under Article 368, they are amending as a Constituent Assembly. Okay, the Parliament has authority under Article 368 to amend the Constitution, including the preamble. The argument against 1976 amendment on retrospective ground was rejected, emphasizing that the Constitution's adoption date, that is November 26, 1949, does not limit the Parliament's amending power. So court has said that under this particular article, Parliament has power to amend it, and they can amend it the way they are, they can see fit. Okay, but they cannot actually meddle with the basic structure of the Constitution. That was something which was upheld in the Keshwanand Bharti judgment. Okay, so here they have said that they can change it, and the cutoff date does not impact that particular power. Okay, So the word socialist and the secular has been given the retrospective effect. That is fine. There is nothing wrong, because most of the constitution amendment has been given the retrospective effect. Okay. Other than that, it was also said that in the with respect to the socialist word, they have said that it is to give, you can say, implementation or the effect to a particular economic doctrine or economic ideology. Court has said that it is nothing like that, because when we are talking about the socialism as an economic doctrine or the economic ideology, now when the words has been added in the constitution, they have been interpreted in a different way. When we are talking about the socialist word in our preamble, that says that India is a welfare state, okay, and that has nothing to do with the economical ideology, and people has actually accepted the interpretation of the socialist. Okay, so that is why that is constitutional. Second thing is, when we are talking about the word secular, they have said that India, when we are talking about the Western secularism, so Western secularism is different from Indian secularism. Okay, in the Western secularism, there is, you can say, watertight compartmentalization is there between state and the religion. In India, that is not the case. In India, state can interfere in the religious matters if they are going against the constitution, or if they are going against the basic structure of the constitution. In that case, you can say the state can interfere in the religious practice as well. Other than that, also in India, we do not have you can say a religion of the state. Okay, we do not have that. We are not a Hindu country, or we are not a Islamic country. We are a secular country. When we talk about Pakistan, Pakistan is an Islamic country. They have said that their religion, the country's religion is Islam. So that is not the case in India. Okay. Other than that, when we talk about the you can say the kind of favors, India or Indian government will never give a special privilege to a particular religion, or neither it will go for the discrimination. So that is the kind of you can say secularism we have, which is not in lines with the Western secularism, which is having a watertight compartmentalization, that state will not interfere with the religion, and religion shall not interfere with the matters of the state. But in India, state can go for the, you can say, intervention in the religious practices if they are going against the constitution. Okay, so that is what Supreme Court has said in this particular judgment. Now moving further, interpretation of the secularism, we have already talked about this particular thing. Okay, our you can say our secularism is different from the Western secularism. Here you can say state that neither support any religion or nor penalize any faith. Okay, the principle is enshrined in Article 14, that is right to equality. Article 15, 16, these are all right to equality. Now moving further, the understanding of the socialism, as we have said that this understanding relate to India being a welfare state. Okay, India being a welfare state and not restricted to a economic policy or economic doctrine. Okay, constitution as a living document. Now why do we have to add the words like socialist and the secular later on? Okay, and can we do it? Our forefathers has decided that Indian constitution will be a living document. Okay, with the need of the time, they can go for the change. Okay, that is why they have added these terms like socialist and secular, and which is rightly said so, because when we are talking about our constitution, that has the element of the socialism, that has the element of India being a welfare state in the DPSPs, that has the element of India being a secular in our fundamental rights. So there is nothing wrong in putting these words in the preamble. Okay, so I hope that is clear. This is about the you can say this debate of socialism and the secularism, which was there in the public sphere recently. Okay, now moving further, we are talking about the 42nd amendment over here, because in the 42nd amendment only the words like socialist and the secularism has been added in the preamble. So basically you can see in 42nd amendment, it is also known as the mini constitution. Why it is known as the mini constitution? Because the kind of changes has been made during the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act. So you will be finding that that has impacted the constitution a lot. Okay, so first is your fundamental right. There are 10 fundamental rights which has been added with the 42nd Amendment Act on the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee. Okay, on the recommendation of Swaran Singh Committee, they have added the fundamental duties. Okay, then coming to the next one, preamble change, because in the preamble the words like socialist and secular were added, and the word like integrity has also been added in the preamble. Okay, that was a huge thing to do. Coming to the next one, 7th schedule, the subjects like education and the forest, they were earlier in the state list, and they have been moved to the concurrent list. Coming to the next one, emergency provisions, they have tweaked with the emergency provisions as well. National emergency after this particular amendment could be imposed in a part of the state as well. Okay, and extended president's rule. Coming to the next one, parliamentary changes. There are certain changes which has been done in the parliamentary procedures as well. President was bound by the cabinet or the advice which has been given by the cabinet. They have when we are talking about the you can say emergency, in that case also they have said that the written recommendation of cabinet is required for the emergency as well. That was also done in the 42nd and the 44th amendment only. Okay, then moving further, directive principles, there are 3-4 changes which has been done in the directive principles as well. That is article 39A for the equal justice, then article 43 A, workers participation, and article 48A, environmental protection. This is the first time that environmental aspect has been given you can say exclusive or the explicit place in the you can say DPSPs. Okay, after that, tribunals, article 323A and 323B was added, wherein the administrative tribunals were kept under article 323A and the other tribunals were kept under article 323B. So that is why 42nd Constitution Amendment Act is considered as the mini constitution, because a lot of things has been changed during the 42nd Amendment Act. Okay, now let's move further to the next article, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, UAPA. Recently, Ministry of Home Affairs MHA extended the ban on the United Liberation Front of Assam ULFA, that is ULFA, for 5 more years under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Okay, now here you can see what is ULFA. ULFA is one of the militant organization which is active in Assam. Okay, it is an armed militant organization operating in Assam that aims to secede Assam from India. Okay, ULFA was formed in 1979 to seek restoration of Assamese sovereignty through armed struggle. Later on, ULFA was first banned in 1990s, and the ban was renewed periodically again and again, and recently it was renewed again for next 5 years. Okay, Section 35 is the you can say legal provision through which they are extending this particular ban. Section 35 of UAPA empowers the government to declare an organization as unlawful or an individual as terrorist if they engage in the activities promoting terrorism or secession. Okay, now talking about UAPA, it was first enacted in 1967 to deal with the secessionist movement and the anti-national activities. It was amended several times, and recently it was amended in 2009, and it was made more powerful with that particular amendment, and they have included provisions related to the terrorist financing, cyber terrorism, individual designation, and the seizure of the property. Other than that, if we talk about, it empowers the National Investigation Agency. Now this is the body who will go for the investigations to investigate and prosecute cases under UAPA across the country. It provides for death penalty and life imprisonment as the highest punishment for the terrorist acts. Okay, now it allows the detention of suspects without any charge, or you can say preventive detentions are allowed over here, or trial for up to 180 days, and for the denial of bail to the accused unless the court is satisfied that accused is non-guilty. So basically, most of the time you will be seeing that bail will be denied over here because this is a matter of national security. Okay, but in some cases, if court is satisfied that that particular person or the accused is non-guilty, then court can go for the bail over here. It defines unlawful activities as an action, as any action that supports or incites the secession or the cession and the secession of any part of India, or that questions or disrespect the sovereignty and the territory of the country. Alright, okay, so when we are talking about the activities which are defined as the unlawful activities, these are basically any activity which is inciting secession and the secession, or anything related to the disrespecting the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of our country. Then it defines the terrorism as any act that cause or intend to cause death or injury to any person, or damage or destruction of any property, or that threatens the unity, security, and the economic stability of India or any other country. So that is the act which is defined over here as terrorism. Okay, so this is about UAPA. Okay, Unlawful Activity Prevention Act. I'm sorry. So this is about the UAPA now. So we have talked about the news. News was related to ULFA because it was the ban was extended for next 5 years. Okay, and which is under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, that is UAPA. Now we can move further to the next one, that is One Nation One Subscription, that is ONOS. Okay, Now, recently the Union Cabinet has approved One Nation, One Subscription scheme for 3 years to provide nationwide access to the scholarly research articles and journals. Right now, what is happening is that there are various higher education institutions, okay, which are there, okay, and they need to go for R&D, research paper, or any kind of for PhD, etc. If they want to go for the research, they have to read for the papers, they have to read the journals, okay. Now for that you need to have, when we are talking about the international journals, etc., for that you need to have a subscription. So what they are doing is, these particular higher education institutions, they are forming library consortiums. Like there are group of 3 libraries which are coming together and they are purchasing these subscriptions, okay. So they are purchasing this subscription, and these higher education institutions, they can take subscription to this particular library and they can avail these particular journals, okay. Now what is happening is that let's say there is one consortium, that is library consortium 1, and then there is library consortium 2. They have taken subscription of, let's say, A, B, C and D journals, and they have taken the subscription of C, D, E and F journals. Now they have paid for all of these journals, so there is a duplication, that they have paid for C and D over here as well, and the second consortium has also paid for the C and D over here. So that is the duplication of the resources, or you can say wastage of money, and that is why the central government has decided that they will come up with their own you can say platform, wherein all these journals from the A, B, C, D, E or F, all these journals will be purchased by under One Nation, One Subscription, and all these higher education institutions directly purchase the subscription of this particular body, and under this particular body there will be nearly 13,000 journals which will be there, okay. Now right now we have access to 8100, and that will be increased to 13,000, okay. So that is the scheme which has been devised by the central government over here, and they have given the Union Cabinet has given the approval as well. Here you can see One Nation, One Subscription, One ONOS scheme will be coordinated by the Information and the Library Network, that is InfluNet, that is there, that is one of the library consortium, which is an autonomous inter-university center under the University Grant Commission. Traditional academic publishing relies on the pay-to-read model, where libraries and the institutions are paying fees to access the published research. ONOS aims to demarcate the access to high quality academics for students and researchers across India, particularly benefiting those in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, okay. So basically under this particular scheme there will be one platform which will be created, and under that platform they will be going for the subscription to various journals, and higher education institutions, they can purchase this particular subscription, under which nearly 13,000 journals will be available to them, okay. And because there is only one body which is going for the purchasing of the subscription, there is one thing, that duplication will not be there, bargaining power will also increase, and increased access will be given to the students and the researchers, okay. ONOS will provide access to over 13,000 high impact journals, by leading 30 international publishers, significantly improving availability of the academic resources for students and the researchers. Initiative targets nearly 6,300 institutions, benefiting across 1.8 crore students, faculty, researchers, and enhance the access to the international journals, boosting India's visibility on the global research community. One more thing that will happen over here is that now there is only one particular platform or the portal which is providing you such services. So whatever downloads will be there, so they will get to know the number of the people who are downloading this research, so we can know that how many research and development is going on, how much research and development is going on, and how many journals are being read, okay. So that is about this One Nation, One Subscription scheme, okay. Now that is about today's discussion. We have all actually considered almost all the important developments which has happened in the past week. We have talked about the CAG, we have talked about the you can say the 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, secularism, socialism. We have talked about the UAPA Act, and then One Nation, One Subscription. Now there is a small test for you. There are 4 questions which you have to answer in the comment box. Who has recently been appointed as the new CAG of India, that is Girish Chandra Murmu, K. Sanjay Murthy, Rajiv Gauba or Shaktikant Das? We have discussed that. Coming to the next one, which amendment of the Indian Constitution included the socialist and the secular in the preamble? 39th Amendment, 42nd Amendment, 44th Amendment, yeah, 46th Amendment. Okay. Moving further, which agency is empowered by UAPA to investigate and prosecute the cases across India? CBI, NIA, that is National Investigation Agency, Enforcement Directorate, that is ED, and Intelligence Bureau, that is IB. Okay. Moving further, last question, which organization will coordinate on the scheme, that is ONOS scheme? University Grant Commission, Ministry of Education, Information and Library Network, and National Digital Library of India. Okay, so you can attempt all these questions and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.